Hello, Heylo Sessions community. We are excited to have you here to get fit and lit with Body High. My name is Chuck, and I lead the partner and community outreach efforts here at Heylo. We are so grateful that you have taken the time today to join us for this Hatha yoga session led by Cara Wietstock. More on her and today's session in a little bit. So Body High would not be possible without our title sponsor, PAX. PAX makes the world's leading vaporizers for cannabis, including the PAX Era Pro and these pods that we use at Heylo. I personally love the PAX Era Pro and the PAX 3 for their reliability, their precise temperature control, and their detailed information on their mobile and web apps. I'm actually a big fan of their PAX 3 vaporizer for flower. It is, the flavor just comes out really, really well. Every attendee is automatically entered to win a PAX Era Pro, and that will be given away at the next Body High session in 2 weeks on October 29th. So excited for that session. For those of you joining us for the first time, I'll go over a little bit on the dashboard here on Livestore. So there's a tab on the right called Chat. So that we can go ahead and talk amongst ourselves in the Body High community. We would love to get some interaction, and I will also be placing some links on there and some information and all that for you guys. And then we also have a questions tab. So if you have any questions regarding Heylo or just any general cannabis questions, you can go ahead and throw it there. We'll answer those right at the end of the session. All right, so a little bit more information on Cara. She is our guide for today's session, and she is certified in Ashtanga Yoga. She is adept with cannabis in many of her forms. For almost 30 years, she's been living in California, and she now has settled in Bellingham, Washington with her cats, her fiance, and her 2 nutty dogs. She currently works for the cannabis industry publication Ganjapreneur. I actually will put the link for that right now. She interviewed our CEO and founder, Lo, so that is now in the chat box. Cara is joined today with her model, Daniela. She will help demonstrate proper form and body alignment. So thank you, Daniela, for being here. And so Cara will be leading us through a Hatha session, which will be paired with our high CBD sour tsunami. I will add this little tidbit here for you guys on sour tsunami. So sour tsunami is a really great pairing for yoga. It helps with a lot of physical benefits, with a lot of physical ailments, helps with sore muscles and aches and pains. It only has 2.2% THC in it, but up to 58% CBD. So it's great for yoga. One thing I want to get into before I pass it on to Cara is that sometimes we have a train that goes by and it's quite loud. So if that happens during the session, they will just take a quick break for that train to go by and they will go ahead and resume. All right, so on to the yoga session, and it's time for Cara to take over and guide us on our journey. Cara, it is all you.
Thanks so much for that great introduction, and thank you everybody for joining us today. I was trained in Ashtanga Yoga, and now I study more of a Hatha-based flow with David Guri. If you find that today you're inspired by anything you've learned, I ask that you go to Asana Kitchen and learn more from him. For now, we are going to have a nice gentle flow. When the train comes, if you feel like imbibing in your favorite type of cannabis, I encourage you to do that. I also encourage you to just take a little dance break, get a little loose with it, or possibly hold the pose that you're in if that feels like it's right for you. Also, before we start, if at any point you feel bad pain, stop, reflect, and then join back with us. There's no wrong way to do your practice. It's yours and you're in your body. So in Ashtanga, actually take a minute, find your space. Find a couple props. You might use some blocks. If you do not have them, Harry Potter 3 and 4 work really, really well. But if they're your boyfriends, he gets mad when you ruin them. Yeah, let's get started. We're gonna start standing at the front of our mat. In this practice, I'm gonna go back and forth with Sanskrit. If you get nervous, ask in the chat what it is, or DM me on my Instagram later, and I'd love to talk about it. This is called Samasthiti. It's an alert stance at the front of your mat. It tells your teacher that you're ready to learn. Your hands are at your sides, and I want you to explore the ground and how your feet meet the earth right now. We're going to lean back on our heels, lean forward on our front of our feet, move side to side, and then find that neutral zone where every pore on the bottom of your feet is making as much contact as it can with the earth below you. Now let's stack our heels, stack our ankles, and take a hand to the back of the sacrum and a hand to the front of the belly and tilt the pelvis forward. Now tilt the pelvis backward. And now take a neutral pelvis. And identify the 3 places that we just saw and come back to that neutral pelvis throughout your practice. Tuck in the bottom ribs, hands to the side, neck firmly holding your head. And we're going to do some Surya Namaskara A, also commonly known as sun salutation. So we'll inhale, bring the arms above your head, looking at the fingertips, exhale to a forward bend. Inhale, look up, almost with a curve of the back, and exhale, press the hands into the ground, and step back into a high plank posture. Inhale, bring the chest between your shoulders into an upward facing dog, looking up, engaging the thighs, and exhale back to a downward facing dog. Push into your hands, push into your feet, attempting to find equality between them both, and just stay for about 5 breaths. As we talk about breaths, I want you to remember they're different for everyone. If you get off with how I'm describing inhales or exhales, no stress. Do your practice. Meet me back where we meet. On the next inhale, step forward between your hands, looking up. Exhale, release into a forward bend. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, arms down to thumbs to knees. We'll do that 2 more times. You can do it at your own pace. I'm also going to show variations for people who may have found that a little difficult. Inhale, bring your arms above your head. Exhale, bring your hands to your Harry Potter book or 2 blocks, looking up, looking forward. And then inhale, step back to a plank pose with your hands on the blocks, allowing you a little more room to fire into that place between your shoulders, engage your core, and keep that booty down. Inhale to an upward facing dog. Beautiful. Exhale back to a downward facing dog and hold. In these postures, I really want you to locate something that you can do at home without me, and really take a moment to step back in your body if you feel very stressed, very engaged with things that aren't serving you at that moment. You can step on your mat and do a little piece of something you learned today. Inhale, step forward. Between your hands, look up. Exhale, release your neck from the hips to a forward bend. And inhale, arms up above the head, looking up. Exhale, arms down. You can also use a chair for Surya Namaskara. We're using this beautiful step ladder. So you inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms to the ground or to the new prop that you brought up from the ground. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to whatever capacity is comfortable for you into a plank posture. Inhale, bring your chest forward into an upward facing dog. And exhale to a downward facing dog. Beautiful, Daniela. Hold for 1, 2, on your inhale between your hands. Looking up. And then exhale, release into a downward facing dog. Or into a forward bend. Excuse me, wrong. And inhale, rise up, arms above the head. Exhale, Samasthiti. Come to the front of your mat if you got a little off. And we'll do Surya Namaskar B. This is the same core with a few new elements. So we're going to inhale and sit into a chair posture. So essentially into an invisible chair. We want to tuck our butt so that our back doesn't exalt out and we're firm in our core. And then we exhale to a forward bend. Inhale, same concept, look up, engaging the back, firing forward, and step back into a plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, down dog. And instead of holding, we're going to take our right foot between our two hands, leaving the back one behind. And frame the foot, make a 90-degree angle as much as you can, and come up into a warrior one. We're going to keep doing this faster and faster as I teach you. Now exhale, frame the foot again, back down, and step back to a plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll bring that left foot forward this time. Framing the foot with your hands, bringing that back leg down to a 45-degree angle and coming up. You really want to think about a square hip here. Exhale, arms down, come to a plank posture. And inhale to an upward facing dog. Exhale to that nice juicy down dog where we hold for 5 breaths as we start to get our blood pumping. We start to feel our prana moving within us from that deep, deep breath. Try to hear your breath. Scare your cats with it. On your next inhale, let's step forward between the hands. Looking up, engaging your quads, and exhale to a forward bend. Inhale, arms up, sit in your chair. And exhale, Samasthiti. Let's do it a little faster together. If you get off, that's okay. No stress. Inhale up, sit in Utkatasana or chair. Exhale, forward bend. Beautiful. Inhale, look up, engaging the quads. And exhale, step back to a plank pose. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Prepare that right foot, and we'll step forward between our hands and up to a warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Frame your hands on the exhale, step back into a plank, and on the inhale, we rise up into an upward dog. And exhale to a downward dog, preparing the left foot to come forward into a warrior. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, frame the foot. Beautiful, and step back to plank. And to an upward facing dog, sliding those shoulders back. Very nice. And exhale, down dog. Let's hold for 5. We're going to go a little faster on the last one. The slower suits you. Breathe. Keep it slow. 4, 5. Step forward between your hands. Looking up, engaging those legs, and releasing the exhale to a forward bend. Inhale, rise up, arms above the head, sitting in your chair. And exhale, Samasthiti. Last one. Inhale, arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Keep it up, guys. Doing great. Inhale, step forward with the right. Stand up tall. And exhale, frame your foot. Step back to plank. Bring upward dog on the inhale. And downward dog on the exhale. The left leg now, everybody. Bring that left leg forward. Come up to a warrior one. Bring those hands down on the exhale, framing the foot, stepping back into a plank, and upward facing dog. Come to your down dog now for 5 breaths. Really think about how you just fired all those muscles in your body. In traditional Surya Namaskaras, you lower your plank into a chaturanga, which is a 90-degree angle on your elbows. I like to teach it this way because we can often hurt our wrists by lowering into Chatpuri too soon. And I think starting here helps you gain that muscle and understand what's happening in your body. Inhale, when you inhale, step forward between your hands, looking up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, arms above your head, sit in your chair. And exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we're going to do some asana from the yoga primary. Inhale, jump your feet hip distance apart and bend halfway, grabbing your big toes with your peace sign fingers, which are your index and your middle finger. Looking forward, harnessing that same energy that you had in that third posture in Surya Namaskara. You're firing your quads. You're almost falling forward. I have you fall. You're almost falling forward. And then on the exhale, you release all that from the hip joint into a forward bend. Your elbows are bent, going away from the middle of your body. And that is causing you to succumb to gravity as you deeply inhale and deeply exhale, letting those shoulder blades release from those back muscles that clench them, breathing into each muscle that's talking to you right now. The train has arrived. Breathing. If you have enough books, you can put one under your head. And that can be really nice and relieving. All right, let's inhale and look up, keeping your hands engaged. And exhale, take your hands and put them under your feet. Stamp into your hands. The finger pad will hook with your foot pad, looking forward, almost falling. And then release down into a forward bend. As your feet kind of do the work to give you that feeling of your shoulders disengaging from those back muscles. If this is hard on your wrist, play with how far your foot is going on your hand. And if it still hurts, just stick with the first variation. That's valuable. Inhale, look up. And exhale, put your hands to your hips, staying where you are with the upper body. And then inhale, come all the way up to Samasthiti. Now let's visit an old friend, Warrior One. We're going to jump into a wide-legged posture. And then take that back leg and face it towards the back wall of wherever you're at. Bringing the other foot, to a 45-degree angle. Bring the hands to the hips, square them so that they're square to the front leg. And bring the front knee to a 90-degree angle. Fire the inner muscles in the inner thigh of your back leg. And continue to bring the energy of the back hip to meet the front hip. And bring your hands above your head into Warrior One, looking at your fingertips. If you feel your neck clenching from the hands touching, bring them shoulder distance apart to cause a little more relief, and let those shoulders slide down in your back instead of lifting up in your neck where mine like to be while I've worked a long day or had a long week. And breathe. On the next inhale, we'll come up and just rotate your body so that your back leg is your front leg in the exact same posture. You don't need to leave your arms up. You can take them back to your hips if that helps you to figure out where your hips are. We also don't want a super bent back. This isn't back bend. This is a fortifying pose. This brings you down to the earth and teaches you how to rise back up from it. We're pushing against both of our feet. We're trying to meet our hips, and then we bring those arms up into our strong warrior. We tuck our ribs in, and we fire that core. Take one nice and exhale and step forward. Virabhadrasana 2 is a little new, but the same idea. Let's jump again into a wide-legged posture and bring that right foot to face the back wall, keeping the hips open, firing the back leg, and bringing a 90-degree angle to the front knee. The back femur is strong in the pelvis as we keep our hips opening but engaged. And the arms come up, as Daniela is showing, with the horizon, and our gaze is to our middle finger of our front hand. If you need to look down, I highly encourage a scan of the body. Is your foot parallel to your mat, or is it bent a little bit? Is your knee actually pushing to a 90-degree angle? Are you firing as much as you can in that back quad? And breathe. Let's inhale, stand taller, and switch the legs so that the back leg is the front leg. Wonderful. If we want, we can take our hands to our hips and take a scan of the body on solid footing. If you have an area and you're finding this back leg isn't very solid in the ground, you can do this with your back leg against the wall and have a lot of great stability. Good job, Daniela. Dance into the train sound. On the next inhale, let's come forward to a samasthiti in the usual spot. And now we're going to take it down to our hands and our knees. So come to a tabletop position. And that means that your back is as neutral as you can make it. You're pushing into your hands. And think about how we explored how our feet touch the ground. And do the same with your hands and with your shins and your ankles. Obviously, there's going to be natural curves, but try hard to just push those spaces in your body into the earth and let it meet you and provide you stability. On an inhale, roll the shoulders towards each other, heart forward, pelvis tilting forward, look up. And exhale, suck the tummy in. The shoulders come away from each other like tectonic plates, and that hips go under into a cat pose. Let's inhale to the cow pose, opening that heart, saddle up the pelvis, feeling comfortable and not pinched, and breathe. Feel your shoulders moving towards one another and your heart moving out into the world. Exhale, belly sucks under. Let's hold a moment. And cat pose. Pushing those shins into the ground. Pushing those hands in that little space we like to forget where our thumb meets our index finger, right into the ground. Now I'd like you to move freely on an inhale to cow and exhale to cat. Doing 3 speeds is a really great way to break out of the natural cadence of your breath, switch things up, and teach your body how to adapt. So we'll inhale, exhale. Inhale, Daniela, and exhale. Beautiful. Inhale fast, exhale fast. Now we'll slow it down. We'll inhale, take it nice and slowly. This one has a long breath if she wants to, and we'll exhale, nice and slowly. Beautiful. Do this for a minute at your own pace. Play with how your breath meets your movement, and then throw it a curveball, see how it reacts. At the same time, remembering to find that anterior and posterior tilt of your pelvis and feeling that motion of almost horizontal movement as your shoulders figure out how to move in ways that we sort of locked them out of through our daily practices and work and typing and knitting slippers for Christmas. Take one or two more. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to neutral. And let's come into a seated posture with our legs straight in front of us. This is called dandasana. It's where seated postures begin. We're pushing our hands into the ground parallel to our body. We're pushing our legs into the earth and feet are engaged. Try to keep the hips in a neutral position. That means they're not bending back, which they really love to do. So if that's part of your natural hip curve, which it usually is, put a blanket under your bum, and that will give you the space to kind of tilt forward naturally. And let's inhale and grab our toes again with our peace sign fingers. And let's go back to remembering almost falling forward in that standing forward bend in that posture. It's exactly the same. And then exhale, fold forward. If your head doesn't touch your feet, I highly encourage bringing something to meet your head and breathe. This is where you let go of that stuff that's not serving you anymore. You're falling down into your own self, engaging with the stuff that feels weird, and then saying later days. Deep breathing. Inhale, look up. And hold that nice galvanized posture and exhale to dandasana. Wonderful. Now, stay in dandasana. Point that right foot, but leave the left foot engaged. And bring it out to a 45-degree angle, parallel to the ground. And then rotate it out and bring the foot to the inner thigh, bending one leg in a triangle like this, and the other is straight. Grab the toe with your hand, or if you need a leash of some kind, a scarf can work to grab the toes and hold. Look forward, engage, and on the exhale, bring your head down to meet your knee. Breathe. Concentrate on not concentrating. Feel the femur moving outwards in that bent leg while the pelvis remains strong and provides that space for the femoral head to explore and move around in a safe way. Inhale, exhale. This is called Janu Shirshasana. It is a valuable pose for anyone with tight hips, for anyone who sits in a chair all day. I highly recommend the daily Janu. Inhale, look up, and exhale, Dandasana, prepare the other leg. This idea of pointing your leg and rotating really helps people who have kind of a frozen pelvis and don't really have a lot of motion, which is a lot of us in our hips. And let's inhale, grab our foot once we're prepared, and exhale into Janu. We're focusing on that forward pelvis. Holding that leg gives us stability as we release into this posture. Your quadriceps is firing and is definitely engaged as your leg firmly plants into the ground. Deeply breathing. In Ashtanga, we call it Ujjayi. The glottis in your throat moves as you breathe in a way that sounds like Darth Vader sometimes. Inhale, arms are engaged, looking forward, rising up. Exhale, come to Dandasana. And let's bring our feet together in what we commonly call butterflies, children. Both of our legs are bent. In this Pada Konasana, our feet are trying to open so that the tops of your feet are touching the ground. I know that sounds super wild. Just consider pushing them open as much as is comfortable and safe for you today. And we're engaging our core. We're looking forward with an open chest as hard as it is while we're grabbing our feet. And then if you can, hinging from the hips, just go into whatever forward bend works. Do not force your hips to go into anything more. This is stunning. Daniela, perfect. If we go too far, we could hurt ourselves in ways that you won't know until too late. Nice. Inhale, come up. We're going to do some neck things now, so I'm going to join Daniela on the mat. As you face forward, onto an easy seated posture. And just find your breath. Rest your hands on your knees. And inhale, bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Inhale, rise up the left shoulder. And exhale, it comes back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Do this a couple times. Continuing to re-engage that ear with the other shoulder because you tend to forget. Now, keeping that right ear to the right shoulder, add on bringing the chin to the left shoulder. So we continue to bring that ear to the shoulder, and then the chin just comes down and breathe. You should feel this right in the back of your neck. It's a muscle that really hurts when you do a lot of reading or a lot of computer work looking down. If you don't really feel it, I would consider coming back up, bringing your right ear back to your right shoulder, and then bringing your chin back to the left. You should have a bit of a double chin. That means you're doing it right. And then inhale back to just a neutral ear to shoulder, and exhale, bring the chin out. Stretch those front muscles, those forgotten little neck babies. This is something that you can do in the middle of the day that will just reset you for a good afternoon of emails or, Slack chatting. Inhale back to neutral and come back up. Kind of like take stock of that left shoulder and the right shoulder and what's different. And then we will inhale. Exhale, bring the left ear to the left shoulder. And you guessed it. Inhale, bring the shoulder up. And the right shoulder comes down on the exhale. Exploring that space. Maybe you made some new space today. And breathing. All right, on the next inhale, or on the next exhale, let's bring the chin to the right shoulder. This can be challenging to figure out, and it really does take exploring with your own body and kind of looking a little silly. So I really encourage you to feel silly while you do yoga. Because bringing a joy to something like this, it just makes it better. Inhale, bring the neutral ear to shoulder. Are you clenching your left one to your left ear? Because I was. Try to let that go. And then let's just bring that chin forward. It'll want to go up. Just guide it as much as you can, but don't be mad at it. It does what it does. Your left ear is coming to your left shoulder. Your chin is trying to also go to your left shoulder. And those front neck muscles are just like, thank you so much. I really needed that today. When you're ready, come back and meet me at a normal neck and head. And let's just inhale, bring both shoulders up. And exhale, let them slide like honey down your back. Do this a couple times. Oh, isn't that nice? Okay, everyone, let's meet in Samasthiti B and do one more Surya Namaskara A together and just take stock of what might be different. How did you open? How did you strengthen? What did you learn? Inhale, arms up above your head, looking up. Exhale, come forward to a forward bend. Inhale, look up, almost falling forward. And exhale, step back into a lightning bolt of a high plank. Beautiful. Inhale, upward facing dog. And bring it back for an exhale into downward facing dog. Let's hold for 5 breaths and say thank you to ourselves for exploring new postures, doing postures that maybe you've known for a long time in a new order, or just joining us here today. Inhale, step forward between your hands. Looking up, firing those legs. And exhale, let it go into that forward fold. Inhale, arms above the head. Looking up. And exhale into Samasthiti. Are your feet flat on the ground? Are you making those same foundational movements you did before, or do you have more of a connection now? These are the things I want you to ask when you do your home practice. I am really thankful that you came to join us today and had a really good time explaining these really wonderful postures to you. And the train was fun too. I really love the Sour Tsunami Pod. It's actually something that I've been using this week, so I'm really pleased to have taught a class that's paired with it, and I'm thankful that you were here today. And I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Cara. So one of the things that I would like to bring up is, so these books could be used as yoga blocks, but I don't think I would be very thrilled if they were. So I'm going to side on the side of the boyfriend there. So thank you again, Cara and Daniela. That was a great session. And I just want to thank everybody else who was here. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And we have one more session for our fall series, and that will be coming up on October 29th. And from there, so I just threw a link in there for people to sign up. That will be our Halloween edition that will be hosted by Yo-Yo Yoga with some spookdaculic tunes by DJ Charlize of KEXP. That session will also be paired with our newly released product, the new workout plan, that is actually really high in Delta 10, and that is now available in stores across Washington State. So again, you can find that. That you can sign up at that link there. And then here is actually a blog post that we did about the new workout plan and kind of some of the experiences that we had at Heylo smoking it. So that's it from me. Again, thank you for everybody for joining. Cara, Daniela, thank you for the session. And I hope everybody has a great night.